again, brothers and sisters. Right, this is a video about why I'm doing these videos, basically, and why I'm putting all this stuff out there, and what I believe we're going through at the moment. So, I feel the reason why I'm doing this is I'm being kind of like channel, being told, being pushed to kind of put this message out there, because I mentioned this in the video before. We're at like a point of evolution, and all systems are failing. The financial, the education, the global systems are failing, and this is obvious to see. People in power, and then the people who are trying to control us, trying to put us in fear, to make us believe that it's the great end and this is going to go down and this is going to happen and stuff. But I believe it's completely different. They're just trying to put us in fear to stop us creating the world in which we've already created. We're already going there. I won't go into it, but so I think I spoke a lot about how we create singly. We create our own worlds, and we create our own experiences by our own beliefs. I also spoke about how you can live somebody else's imagination, somebody else's life, because if the beliefs in which you've taken on and you're putting out as your beliefs, when you truly ask yourself they're not your beliefs, well then again you're living a world that's not you. Yeah, which seems really crazy, doesn't it? And I think many people do this, and I think this is why the Great Awakening is happening at the moment, is because people are starting to ask themselves, like, oh, where did I get this from? And do I believe this? And do I believe that? You know? And they're starting to understand that a lot of their beliefs, which they thought was them, is actually not them, but a lot of things being pushed on. Now, just as much as we create singly our worlds around, I believe that we create on a global conscious level too. Now, this is to say that enough people put enough energy and enough words into an event, and we can push that event to happen a lot stronger and a lot harder, and with a lot more feeling. Because I think we're unaware, but when we come together as one, because we are one, where one soul starts and another soul ends, there is no gap. You cannot distinguish a gap. So we are all one soul, mass collective soul, recreating ourselves as God, as the creator, and together, creating the world in which we're experiencing. And it's no surprise that the world we're experiencing right now reflects a lot of our own beliefs, because the world in which we see around us is a reflection of humanity to humanity. This is, I read about the whole Nazi movement and how it may seem crazy me saying this, but for every dark there's a light. There's always a blessing, and the blessing with the Nazi movement and the whole Nazi regime was the fact it was a reflection to humanity from humanity. It was to say, right, this is what you stand for, and this is where you are within your evolution. We believe that we're so evolved and stuff with all our technology, but yeah, we still can't seem to figure out how to balance food, shelter, the basic needs for survival. Yet we still call ourselves intelligent life forms, which for me personally, I think we're just about primitive, just above primitive. We still believe we're in survival mode. We're struggling to fight for the roof over our head, for food. So I don't believe we're really that evolved, but we are getting to a point now where evolution is really starting to take hold. And I believe within the Darwin's evolution, we're at the next stage. I think maybe in the next lifetime or something, there'll be a Darwin t-shirt with the next person on it, which will be the newest, the more consciously aware and creative beings. So I think everything's coming around now with the whole the Great Awakening. Me doing my videos and several of my friends doing videos too. It's a push now to get people to come together and really just start to understand that on a global conscious level, we create the experiences which the world's having too. Tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunamis and things like this, with enough thought and enough feeling behind it, and the universe will provide it. So I was saying to my mom the other day, I was saying about the whole ISIS movement, And I mentioned this before. We've had Bin Laden, Saddam Hussein, ISIS. We had the King, I can't remember his name, from Korea. And on the face of it, we see this bad person who's dictating the country and doing this, that, and the other. But who's to say that person wanted their country to stay away from the way in which the world is turning and going within the elite and the kind of like the power struggle, and to keep their people the way they were? We only see what's on mainstream media, and we all take it in. We don't even question it. It's like ISIS and things like that. And what you don't understand is, again, in the last video I said I am. While you say this, I am pissed off with terrorists. I'm angry. I am annoyed. I can't believe this has happened. And when enough people, not just one person, 2 people or 3, but you've got 10 to 1,000 people across the world all feeling the same and kind of putting out the same energy into the same event, then you will create, and we are unaware of this, but we will create for the power and the elites themselves the scenario and the situation to fit perfectly for it to happen again, because we're unconscious of the fact that we are creating these instances by putting our energy and thought into it. So this is why in one of my videos I said I stay away from mainstream media. It's just because when it's negative things and stuff, they just want you to put your energy into it, because everything's energy in the world. I mean, the science knows this. You can say it's not, but it is. Everything is energy, from a thought to a word to an action. It's all energy. We are vibration. We're just a vibration. From wood to plastic. I mean, they call it solid, but it's 90% air in between it. So, and this is why you have like martial art masters who are able to break through rocks and stuff, is because in their minds they know that thing is not solid, it's actually 90% air. So it's thoughts of everything. So what you put out, and again, if you're on this feeling of kind of like you're getting annoyed with the terrorist movement, we'll stick with this as an example. But the terrorist movement, and every time you see videos of terrorists and all these news clips and media outlets are posting up all these pictures and stuff, and you're putting out your thought and you're feeling to this, then what you're doing is you're reinforcing that event and the energy behind it. So it will just continue, because the universe is a universe of love. So it just thinks that you must enjoy this, because it goes on feeling. Now, if you're feeling it so strongly and passionately, again, I haven't explained this, but the reason why you can create just as powerful with fear as with love is because it's the polar opposite. Love is white, fear is black. It's the complete opposite. So it may be the opposite end of the scale, but it holds equal power when it comes to feeling, because love is an immense feeling. We all know it. When you're a teenager, you get butterflies in your stomach. We all know that the feeling of love is a powerful feeling. But then we all know that feeling of fear as well. It's not equivalent, but it's close to, enough to deter you from doing anything. And this is why I say in my videos, like, keep it positive, because just as much as gratitude and the positiveness is strong energy to put out and to create with, fear is too. It's the complete opposite, but it's just as powerful, especially when you're feeling and thinking these things, which is why media do what they do, is because put enough negativeness out and enough people feed their negativeness into it too, and their energy, and you will create an event to happen, just like the world around you, just like that person you was waiting to meet, that the soulmate you was waiting to meet. You've been visualizing this person, that you wrote down their characteristics and their personality. You've visualized them. You've seen them every day. You've made room for them in your life. You've cleaned the space out of your wardrobe. Remember, thoughts, words, and actions. That's if you want to bring this person to you. The same thing will happen in this instance. Is put enough people and people's thoughts and energy into a scenario, into an event, and you will exacerbate it and basically make it grow bigger and with more force. And this is why it's constantly provided to us on media and all these stories out there. It's the power trying to keep you from being the power that you are. They're trying to take your power from you and use it against you without you even knowing this thing. And this is why I feel I'm here, because I've had it too. but you have to know what it's like to have no power, to have power. Again, the divine dichotomy. It's the love hate. You know, it's, you have to know both to get the equilibrium. So we need to be aware that for every event on the TV, in the paper, in media, social media, everything like this of a terrorist and negative war army, this is all predetermined and pre-planned. It's a lot of thought's gone into it, and there's an overall basis for the end of it. I don't know if anybody's looked into the Illuminati, secret societies, etc., New World Order. It's been thrown around that much that it almost seems like a joke to people now, but it's the truth. And the truth is that all the media and the wars and stuff, whether you believe this or not, it's predetermined as elections with presidents and popes and stuff and things like this. It's all predetermined. It's all created well before that happens for a situation to arise. So what we need to do is, first we need to drop the ego, and we need to get rid of this whole religion thing, because on the basis of it being Hindu, Buddhist, Christian, Islam, Judaism, it's all the same. You've only got to look through the stories to see that there's absolute replicas of everything told in each of the religious stories as they're in each other. You've got the Adam and Eve, then you've got the Greek myth, and then I think there's one in the Islamic religion too, which is identically the Adam and Eve story, but just flipped and turned into a different concept to fit a different group. So the whole religion thing, this whole Islam thing, now the Quran, just as much as the Bible, teaches peace. I mean, you can, just as much as extreme Islamic religion people, I can't think what you call them, Islamic State, would you call it that? And just as much as extreme Christians, it's all kind of set. It's all one, and they're just trying to put you in fear and segregate. And it's all just the original message, which is what I'm trying to put across here, is basically we are one. It doesn't matter what religion you are, what context you read. When it comes down to the root core of us, we are the same. Whether you are brown, white, black, purple, green, yellow, we are the same to the core. We are a spark of God's creation. Now, and it doesn't matter who your gods are, because essentially we are all gods. So, you know, beliefs are beliefs, and worship who you want to. Me personally, I worship myself and others because I'm God, and others around me, a reflection of me, and also God. This is why, you know, power and unity, I put this up on Facebook a lot, is because we need to this whole religion thing, it's the last kind of ditch effort to kind of segregate us and to really to put our negative energy into stuff rather than using it for positive. So this whole Islam, Christian, Hindu, it just needs to stop, because it's not getting anywhere. I mean, like, we go around in circles and we have just the same kind of like dictators and the same wars and the same news footage and the same killings and the same suicides and genocides, and it's just, you know, it's a reflection to humanity from humanity saying, okay, look, this is where you're at now. And the same with I'll go back to the Nazi movement. Hitler's reign went through years. It didn't take 1 year for him to be nobody to gain a massive army and then to take over and kill all the Jews. It was a long running thing. Now, it only took anybody to get involved when there was killings done, and a mass amount of killings too. Now, for me, that's saying to humanity, saying, right, you have the power with your thoughts, enough people stand up, no matter who it is, whether you government, parliament, army, enough people stand up and stand there, and they can overthrow and overpower, because when people unite and come together, that is where true power lies. True power does not lie in individuality in kind of little groups. It lies in coming together, because you are then creating on a global conscious level with your thoughts. So if enough people come up against this and just said, no, enough's enough, like, I'm not being suckered into this fake wars and these fake religious acts and these terrorist acts, because that's all they are. They're not real. They're not real. They're just stopping you from having the power that you have. and taking it from you and making you direct the power in which you truly hold within you. And that means all of us, whether you're Islam, Buddhist, Hindu, you're all my brothers and sisters, man. It doesn't matter, because on the root core of it, you are a spark of God's creation, the same as I am. You are a creator, the same as I am. And it doesn't matter color, ethics, background, actions. To me, you are the same as me, and you know, we are just love and divine and creators. And together, I think together over the next few years and stuff, we're going to come together, all religions, all ethnic groups, despite your background or anything, because I think it's coming to the point now, like I've spoke about this in the Grand Awakening video, is there's nothing the power can do about it. We've already made it, and we've evolved to the next stage. Now all we're doing is just aligning with this. But they will do everything they can to stop this. So they will just reinforce more wars, more things to be scared about, to put you in fear, because fear is the polar opposite of love. And if you live in that, you'll create the fearful world for you. You make them believe. You make yourself believe you need these people to survive. You need this government, which is practically stripping you of all your living rights to survive, which is crazy. You need the government to survive when they're stripping you of all your living rights. We need to come together. And once we come together, there is power in unity. We can start to change the world with enough people putting out enough thoughts. So rather than saying, I've had enough, these terrorists, rah, 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 just send love to it, and just to forget about the whole idea of terrorists, and just say, I'm sending my love out to the country, Syria or Iran or Iraq or Poland, Germany. You know, direct the energy you got in a positive sense, and you will. And if we do that, all of us, it'll be absolutely insane and crazy to see what happens within the kind of media and their events, because without people putting their energy and their thoughts, the universe is not backing it up on a global conscious level. So they're on their own. And then when they're on their own, and you've got everybody united together as one too, they are really, that's it. That's game over. We've took it back, and we create the world in which we're going to live in. And I think it down to eco-politics and stuff too, down to the global warming, down to the product of food and production of food and stuff. It just really needs to change now, because it's not really known, but one of the major problems on Earth is soil. There's actually not enough fresh soil. Now scientists, your religions, your teachers, and this, that, and the other won't tell you this, because it's actually one of those things they think that we don't need to know about. But we do, because this is why there's genetically modified foods. I don't know if you know this, but I didn't know this, but the reason why that's about is because there's not enough fresh soil to grow proper crops, fresh crops. So what they're trying to do is create in a lab, because they've just destroyed it with fertilizer and weapon testing and all these things. And there's just lack of pure soil, you know. And I think we need to start becoming aware of this situation. You know, that message in the 1977 message, and a lot of messages from the Palladians, and the Galactic Stark, man, they all say the same thing. And it's like, yes, you could say it's crazy and that's mad and it's all fake and stuff. But when you look down to the crunch and you look down to the singular moment, you can just see that it's not necessarily all that crazy. You can see that the large fish are in danger of being extinct. That's tuna, salmon, and things like this. Part of the reason I think on a subconscious level I stopped eating fish. I don't know why I did it, but I understand now, because the fish, we have just fished that hard and that much that there's just hardly anything left anymore. And it's the same with loads of animals. I mean, since we've been inhabiting the earth, animals have gone extinct in years. I mean, there's that many on the list now because of just killing and poaching and things like this. I mean, and I think this is what this time is all about now, is to really understand that together we create the world, we see it and we experience. And that does not just mean in kind of like the good things you bring it to you, be it wealth, money, success, happiness, sex, clothes, cars, holidays. I mean in the sense of we also create the events around the world too. You know, if we live in peace, we could change the world tomorrow. We would have. See, I believe, now this is a crazy belief, but just go with me on this, right? What's to say that the weather, they cannot predict? Why? Because on a global conscious level, we create the weather. It sounds crazy. Just go with it for the moment, right? So enough thoughts, and I said this collectiveness, enough thoughts on a collective consciousness basis will create an event and give it energy and make it kind of like expand and bigger. So when it stands to reason that when you're being like here in the UK, I don't know what it's like in your country, but here in the UK we have it every day. They tell you the weather, and even the week weather forecast, weather for the week, and they can never seem to get it right. They get a little bit of it right, but on the whole, they don't really get it right. It's always just like, well, the weatherman got that wrong. And I believe what they're trying to do is to tell us, what the weather's going to be. So then on a collective consciousness level, we create the exact weather that they want to be. So Mondays, I don't know about you, but I've noticed most Mondays tend to be quite grey. Weird, isn't it? And then coming on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, as you get later on, it tends to be really nice. And all of a sudden you get to Friday and the weekend and it's gone crap weather again. Now this is no surprise that they put it out a lot that it's going to be a wet weekend, and because people have been working their asses off all week and they get to the weekend and think, yes, this freedom, the little bit of freedom you have that you say you're free, but this is the only little bit of freedom you have after you've finished your week work and you go to your weekend. And then what happens? They put out, it's going to be rain, it's going to be this, that and the other. So with everybody watching this stuff and watching the TV, and they're like, it's going to be raining tomorrow, then their mate's saying the same thing. And again, this is enough people think and feel this, and we will create that rain to come to us. We truly do. I think the capability of ourselves is that magnificent and that awesome, which is why they are trying so hard to stop us from being what we can truly be, is because we know no limits. That's the truth. We are just magnificent. We can bring and do and build and create a new galaxy if we work together and wanted it to. So I think we really need to become aware now and need to change. We need to change this whole war thing, because I don't believe in it. I never have. I've never really been a confrontational guy. That's not to say that I haven't stood up for myself in the past. Of course, ego, fear, it's always good for protection. But there comes a time where you can see that it's just not doing any good. I mean, how many world wars, how many dictators have we got to see before we start to turn around and be like, wait a minute, isn't this the same as the last story about 2 months ago? Now, I could see the whole Syria and Iran movement happening. I told it to my friends before it happened, because I watched a documentary quite a while ago from a bloke talking about kind of like the ideal plan for the new world order and stuff. And they needed to conquer Syria and have a reason to conquer Syria, because they couldn't get to Iran. They needed to get to Iran. So to be able to do that, they needed to conquer Syria. So, and these are just ploys out there, because we make the world in which we kind of experience it. So we've really got to become aware of what we're thinking, what we're feeling, and what we're putting out there. So when it comes to media, don't get suckered into all this stuff. Meditate, pray for these, not pray, but like send your loving energy to these situations rather than to the terrorist acts, which are just your energy. You're just reinforcing what's going on. And it's time now. And I think this is humanity's calling, my calling to you, and the calling from others to me. And on a global consciousness level, we are going through change. The wars have got to stop. We've really got to start thinking about the world and where it's going with pollution and oil and stuff. And obviously the oil reserves will run out. They estimate about 2025, 2030. even though Nikola Tesla had 0-point energy and electric for the world for free. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So we've got to wise up to the whole religious acts and the way they're trying to turn everybody against each other using religion. It's a great thing. It's a genius idea, absolute genius. It's something. It's to it kind of like manipulates people using their core belief and what they truly are, and that's spirit. So that's why people relate to religion, is because you are truly spirit. So we need to forget this whole ISIS, Islam, Buddhist. We're all one when it comes down to the core. Life, death. We all go to the same place, and we all come back to the same place. We're just one. We need to start thinking about the world, eco-politics, and how we need to come together and start thinking different things for oil, for petrol, and things like this, because these are things as well which are destroying the world. We are just steadily destroying the world bit by bit with the fishing. The fish are now going extinct. So it would be surprising to start genetically modifying fish. Me personally, glad I don't eat that stuff. And we need to stop living in survival. We're not in survival mode anymore. We call ourselves evolved, but we're not really much away from primitive. We're still living in survival. I think it's time now for the people, for the world to take back its power, for Mother Earth to take back its power, for the God energy, for the Hebs, the higher evolved beings, which are also helping us too, to take it back, to make this world and turn it to what it should be, and that is just the blue jewel, a wonderful place of experience, with no war or weapons and none of this, with just pure compassion and unity. And I think this is what this is all about. This is what we need. This is what I feel we need to do. So this is why I'm doing these videos. So let's stamp out all the difference between religions, because let's be honest, we're all spirit, we're all religious, and we're all not religious, because religious is just a label to put on what you are, what you truly are. And me personally, I am me. I am spirit. I am spiritual, but I'm not religious. Religion is a label that puts it in groups and segregates. My God does not fear. My God does not segregate. My God is just of love, compassion, and you are to him as to me exactly the same, whether you're Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist. That is what my God is. And personally, I think that is what all our gods are. We are just one, working together to create the world in which we live in. So this whole religious thing, I think it just needs to stop, and we need to really start to become consciously aware of the energy and the thoughts in which we're putting out. Become aware of the eco-political kind of like the economy and stuff at the moment, the way in which soil's running out. We don't really care for the world, like recycling and pollution and stuff like this. I mean, yes, me as well, I was guilty of this. It's only recently I've become really, not recently, but the past year and a half, I've become really conscious of kind of like everything, the whole, which is hence the vegetarian and hence not eating this and not doing that. So we just really need to become aware of kind of like the power in which we each hold, and together the power we hold to create a magnificent new world, which is what we're doing, and we will do. So come together, share the knowledge, fix the world. New system, create the new system and change the old one because it's not working. Drop the ego, live in love, live in unity, and always remember there was power in unity. We are all one, and this is what we're doing. We're creating the new world. One love.